straight into a Canadian brake and driving out down the B axis, down away from the crowd into a synchronized wing over. You can turn towards each other and come back in and we'll have a good look at these aircraft up close. This is the new Wildcat aircraft, which is replacing the Lynx. It's over a 4-year period that will phase out the Lynx and bring in the Wildcat. Due to the capability requirements on the front line, we can't just stop Lynx flying and start Wildcat. We'd have a gap, so we are keeping both going at the same time. So it's a very closely monitored thing. We're getting there. 825 squadron based on the south, 815 based on the north of the airfield. Keeping all our ships equipped with helicopters at sea and those operations going all the time. Pilots today, lead pilot is Lieutenant David Lilly, who's an ex-Black Cat from the late 2000s, and in number 2 position is Lieutenant James Woods, who's an instructor, well, both of them are instructors on 825 Naval Air Squadron, which is just started bringing in our first brand new pilots straight from helicopter training for RS Shoreby. So they've just started. We've got 4 of them on course, 2 pilots, 2 observers, and they should be graduating at the end of the year to be our first fully trained from scratch Wildcat crews. We got 1 Wildcat flight at sea on HMS Lancaster at the minute, down in the South Atlantic on operations, and very much a learning curve, discovering what the Wildcat brings to the party. It's such a step up from the Lynx in so many capabilities, and we'll cover all that from the Lynx Maritime Roll Day later on, where we'll be able to compare both the Lynx and the Wildcat and show how the Wildcat deserved its name as a separate entity from the Lynx. Okay, running in towards the crowd now, in that synchronised wing over, coming in to start off some hover manoeuvres. Show you what helicopters can really do. As we said, the fixed-wing aircraft, they need their space. At pitch special, making very, very good use of the space in front of us, whereas the jets need a little bit of time to turn. One massive advantage, as you can see, the helicopters, you don't need a lot of space. They're right in front of the crowd, up close. They do nice close-up view of these aircraft. Very similar in size to the Lynx, but very more capable inside, lots more avionics. The whole aft section of the aircraft has been redesigned, so it's a brand new tail. It retains a lot of the engineering from the Lynx, the gearbox, the rotors. That took a lot of experimentation throughout the 70s to bring in these vert blades, which are particularly good for bringing out the best in the Wildcat. Rigid rotor head, giving it extraordinary agility and power. As you see in the swing boat now, rearwards formation flight. Challenge for the lead pilot to see that line. He's scanning inside and out, making sure he's holding the height, accurate holding the line, and then for James Woods in Black 2, holding that position on the lead aircraft. Particularly challenging manoeuvre as well. All the way down that way into the swing line. Into the other end of the swing boat, pitching down, holding the formation around the aircraft to settle forward and out of the gear. Accelerating to turn away from the crowd and bring us back into the hover eventually. Distinctive looking the Wildcat, it's the rear stabiliser, both sides of the tail, housing lots of aerials. As I said, lots of avionics inside, lots of aerials on this aircraft, lots of communication systems. As they come round into some more hop manoeuvres at 1 rotor span. If you can picture the width of that rotor, that's how close they're going to get. Believe me, it feels a lot closer when you're in the aircraft. It feels like you're just about to touch. So training is interesting, hard work, but the result you get at the end is well worth the effort. Nose to nose, into the carousel manoeuvre. Particularly challenging for the lead now because he's got to maintain that height while drawing a circle with himself on the ground. And then number 2 having to mirror that. As you can see, it's just over about a rotor set. You can probably fit 1 Lynx rotor in between them there. As I say, looking from windscreen to windscreen, it looks like you're just about to touch. All these maneuvers fighters are very, very affected by the wind. As you get higher, the wind gets more and you can get blown off, so holding those ground locations and positions so you can do this will be taxing the pilots to maintain that. And there you go, a sign of that agility in the British boats ahead as they nose over and cross. Now, blade slapping sound that's distinctive of the lynx and the wildcat sound with those bird blades. It's the British Experimental Rotor Program, which you'll find those blades on the Merlin as well, giving us an increased performance. It's a very clever blade, and if you get the chance to go and have a look at a wildcat, there's four statics in the airfield and a couple of lynx, so go and have a look at them. Very distinctive, big paddle tips, interesting.
Yeah, it started long ago, it's the early 70s, and I think was partly responsible for getting the speed record on the lynx as well.
It was, yes, 300 nautical miles an hour that lynx did. I mean, it was
not been broken in 27 years now?
Not by a conventional helicopter, no. There's what we call combined helicopters, where you have pushing rotors at the back, sort of contra-rotating blades and pushing rotors. So if you were talking true helicopters, no, but it's all getting a bit messy nowadays with this modern technology.
Sure. Okay, well, back to the black cats, formating very nicely. I'm guessing also at this stage, this is where the co-pilot really earns his money as well, helping the leader keep the position over the ground.
Yes, it is. We've got the observers in the left-hand seat. They changed out the season because the black cats is it's a volunteer display team. It's not it's a formal display team, but it's not funded by the Navy. It's hours that are used up from other events. If we underspend on some areas, we can then afford to run the black cats. So the observers mix and match every display, but very fundamental to maintaining the accuracy, helping the pilot. The pilot's always got some coaching voice in his ear talking about power lines.
Oh, and a beautiful bow there for everybody.
Nice bow.
Everybody stand to attention. Well done, the black cats. Yes, there's great additional training value, though, I think, in practicing for displays, because it just sort of pushes your daily flying experience to just a bit more what we call towards the edge of the envelope, and therefore gives you great confidence in the aircraft you're flying.
It's an excellent opportunity for the younger pilots who've maybe done the first operational tour and getting comfortable, but needing that extra challenge. And it's just another thing that you can bring on. Fantastic nose over there, straight down towards the back at low altitude and scooping out.
Now, you mentioned the term marinising aircraft earlier on. What additional sort of work, if any, was required to marinise the Wildcat compared to the Lynx fleet?
The Wildcat was designed from scratch to go to sea, so they'd taken all the lessons from the Lynx. The Lynx was initially an overland aircraft, which we marinised to put it to sea, so we changed the configuration, the undercarriage, put a decklock on it, changed some components to prevent corrosion. And then all that has transferred itself onto the Wildcat. All that 30 years of learning with the Lynx. But the Lynx is the workhorse of the fleet now, and the Wildcat has some big shoes to fill. And as I said, when the Lynx Wildcat Marathon Day comes on, we'll have a chance to really dig into that and discuss why that is such a good aircraft.
Okay, well, back to the action right in front of you. What's coming up next?
Well, this is the Black Cat's final break. Right on the display line, and a nice close pass. Great third opportunity. So that is, ladies and gentlemen, the Black Cat's